Waste to Water Sports, ahoy! How's everybody doing? Welcome YouTube, welcome TikTok. As the Big Bash draws towards its finale with this all-Sydney affair. Sydney Sixers versus the Sydney Thunder. The Thunder have won the toss and elected to field first, going against the flow, persisting with tradition. Nicole, ahoy there. Lakers fan, ahoy. Got my drink already. Lakers fan, ahoy. Welcome along as we get ready for this showdown. 3 seconds. And the first ball will be bowled. Jordan, ahoy, mate. The Sydney Derby. About to get underway. Bojam, ahoy, mate. Bring on the footy. There is actually some footy on this weekend. I don't know that I'm going to be up early enough in the morning to cover it all, but we might jump on and suss it out in the afternoon, just out of interest. First delivery. And it's guided away almost past a diving Jilks on the circle. Good start all around. Good bowling, good fielding. Sydney Sixers probably expected to win this game. But of course, the Thunder, they'll have something to say about that, won't they? AB1, ahoy, mate. Turned away to the leg side. Deep square is back on the rope, so an easy single there for the Sydney Sixers. Yeah, so it was an interesting call first up to see the Thunder winning the bat flip and electing to field first. We have seen a lot in the recent matches. Obviously, the team batting first and setting a score, being able to defend it somewhat easily. So I thought there might have been a consideration tonight of going out and batting first as Patterson cuts this one away, rocking onto the back foot and sending it to the rope. Glorious shot. Kai Matheson, ahoy there. And Djokovic is injured, is he? For real this time? There's actually a meme floating around of Djokovic injured versus not injured. None for 6. A very good start here. Drifting down the leg side. A shout from Billings from behind the stumps. He only played one set and then retired. Did he win that set? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, maybe he came in with a niggle and then thought, I've got to get this done in straight sets. If I lose the first set, I'm out. I wouldn't be able to hang and fight back. I don't know. Just pure speculation. Of course, off the bottom of the edge, back past the stumps, and it's well fielded by Billings. That one almost raced away. Billings had to adjust his direction there. Well fielded. And a decent start to this one. Addison on 5. An early boundary for the Sixers. McAndrew with his final ball. Got it off the pads. There'll be at least one there. Yeah, nice. Enjoy. Matty, Perth Heat. Adelaide Giants. Unfortunately, the Brisbane Bandits, my team, quite crap. They had a terrible season. None for 8 after the first over here. The Sydney Sixers, that's a decent start. Where's Agar now with the ball? Yeah, so just going back to the toss, the Sydney Thunder winning the toss, electing to field first. Kind of interesting call because we have seen it was a no-brainer at the start of the season. But we've seen as the competition's gone on, and especially in these later games, the team batting first does seem to have a higher win rate. So it was an interesting call. But they'll be backing themselves here, the Thunder. David Warner, if he gets going at the top. A slip in place, and squares him up. Beautiful delivery. Just hangs the bat out. Somehow doesn't get the edge. Jason Callaway, ahoy, mate. Nice little bit of seam away from the right-hander. Yes, Lakers fan Djokovic retiring out of the tournament. That's a biggie. Well bowled again from Agar. Right on the money. Defense is the only option here against this bowling. The winner, of course, through to the final to take on the Hobart Hurricanes. Three dot balls to start here for Agar. And they're going to take the man on at mid-on. Direct hit would have been interesting. They said enough of this, bollocks. Enough of these dot balls. We need a single. And it was a risk. But through they come. Dusty, ahoy there, mate. No, this is the Challenger. The winner of this will go into the final to face the Hobart Hurricanes on Monday. So we're nearly there. Nearly at the end of the tournament. Patterson swings and misses at this outside off. Good bowling from Wes Agar. Just the single off this. AFL ex-cricket, ahoy there. Brisbane Heat supporter, so whose side am I on tonight? Oh, jeez. I would like to see the Sydney Thunder get through so that there's something a little bit new. Sydney Thunder versus the Hobart Hurricanes. Sydney Sixers, they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they? It would be nice to see a couple of new teams in the final. Fantastic over from Wes Agar, though. Just the one run from it, a single, a really tight single to mid-on. A direct hit might have been interesting, but missing the stumps. Just the one run. And that just pulls the run rate back a bit after a solid start from the Sydney Sixers. None for 9 after 2 in the Sydney Derby. Interesting. Yeah, so it's been a stinker of the year for the Brisbane Heat. Stinker of the year for the Brisbane Bandits in the we were just talking about the baseball before. And it was a stinker of a season for the Brisbane Broncos in 2024, wasn't it? Terrible all round for Brisbane teams at the moment. As Edwards opens the face of the bat, turns at a backward point, and they come through for a single. 2 overs gone in this one. And it's none for 10. McAndrew in to bowl his second. Cooper, it's on Channel 7. Oh, Patterson gets squared up again. Down to mid-off, taking another tight single. Oh, boy. What are the odds on a run-out? The Sixers just getting a little bit bogged down, and that's forcing them to take these singles that aren't necessarily on. Good Lord, a direct hit. And that's very close. David Warner, he knows it as well. That was a close one. And now Edwards gives it all or nothing. Trying to hoik it over mid-wicket. Gets an inside edge that races away down to the deep fine leg fence. Walshy, ahoy, mate. And maybe that'll break the shackles a little bit. None for 15. Lakers fan says it's been unlucky for Brisbane team fans for the past 2 years. Oh, Blair, thank you very much for the hearts. Tries to drive this over the top of mid-off. Can only find David Warner at head height. And it had to come. They were getting bogged down here, the Sixers. And Edwards is on his way. Going for the big hit. Didn't get enough elevation on it. And you know that you haven't got much elevation when the little hobbit David Warner gets it at head height. All 4 foot tall of David Warner plucking that one out of the air. And it's 1 for 15. Well, they've just been too bogged down here, the Sydney Sixers batsmen. Struggling to get anything away. Unless it's been an edge, cheeky little edge behind the keeper. Going the more traditional route on this occasion. Only finding David Warner at mid-off. Well, that should... who comes out? Josh Philippe. Josh Philippe, who probably should have been opening in the first instance. So it might not be the worst thing in the world. Cooper asking who I think is winning. Oh. I won't let that wicket dictate things. I reckon that Josh Philippe probably should have been opening the batting anyway. I'm not too sure why he wasn't. So that wicket might be the best thing that happens for the Sixers. We'll see. As Philippe leaves this outside off to go through to the keeper. D-Funk, ahoy, mate. One for 15 here. 1 ball remaining in the third over. McAndrew 1 for 14. Philippe fends it. And it's a dot ball to finish. 1 for 15 after 3. Good start here for the Thunder. The winner, of course, to face the Hurricanes in the final. As our first season of Big Bash cricket comes to a close. I will reflect on it very, very fondly. It's been good. Waste of Water Sports live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Soon to be once again live on Twitch and live on Facebook, usually just covering the NRL and the rugby union. There's Wes Agar in again. Why not keep the pressure on here? Good captaincy. Oh, they're pushing for a second, and that's extremely well run. Because the throw from the deep there was absolutely on the money. Very good running between the wickets on this occasion. Yeah, so this is the first time that we've covered the Big Bash. We'll certainly do it again. It's got me quite excited for cricket again. So we might even do the ICC Champions Trophy as well, depending on timing and all of that, if the times match up. Reed says ahoy. Ahoy, Reed. Well, I can't believe they were actually looking at that. That went up to the third umpire. They were comfortably home. Patterson slashes at this. Slightly off the outside edge. Out to the rope for one at deep point. Yeah, doing very well. Thank you, Oliver. William, who do you reckon's going to win this? Well, I kind of hope the Thunder win. As I was saying earlier, it'd be nice. A Hobart Hurricanes, Sydney Thunder final. With the Hobart Hurricanes winning. That would be a good situation for a neutral. One for 19 of 3.3. Wes Agar, just the one run off the first over. He's gone for 4 in this one. Thank you very much for sharing the live there. Ollie is the best. Patterson goes for the big pull shot. Manages to just sky it, and the man on the circle takes the catch. It's Green who takes the catch. Patterson goes now, and the Sydney Sixers, not for the first time this season, not for the first time this finals series, are under the pump early. 2 for 19. Just getting bogged down, forcing the big shots. And the big shots are not paying off. Wes Agar reaches to the skies in celebration. It's 2 for 19. And Green taking that catch. He's going to be very instrumental when he gets his chance to bowl as well. Probably, over 6 or 7 perhaps he comes on. Well, they're in a bit of a bogged down situation here, the Sydney Sixers. Under pressure. And here we go. This could be the partnership, Lakers fan. Lakers fan saying, we really need a partnership now, and this could be it. Moises Henriques as the captain. Josh Philippe. This could be what the Sydney Sixers innings hinges on. A slip still in place. Henriques tries to go big off ball number 1. There's nobody out there. There's no fielder out there at long on. And it lands safely and rolls to the rope. And Moises Henriques signals his intent. Counter-attack. Jezza, ahoy there. I go for the Brisbane Heat. I wouldn't mind seeing the Sydney Thunder win this one, despite David Warner. Look, David Warner's not my favourite player, not my favourite person in the world. But despite that, wouldn't mind seeing the Sydney Thunder win just for something a little bit different. Nice reply from Wes Agar. Chops Henriques in half. And a dot ball to finish. 2 for 23 after 4. So clearly the Sydney Thunder on top there in that power play. Clearly, I don't think that can be argued at all. 2 for 23 after the opening 4 overs. They're definitely on top in that opening stanza. So yeah, nothing at all against the Sydney Sixers. But I mean, when was the last time the Thunder were in a final? It was a few years ago at least, right? And the Hurricanes have been in a couple of finals a while back, but have never won the competition. It'd be nice for something new. As Sangha, who was so instrumental in the eliminator against the Melbourne Stars, he will get first use of the ball as a spinner. Keeping a slip in place. They're keeping the foot on the throat here. I like it. That is the sort of captaincy that I would deliver to if I played. 2 for 23. The run rate is 5.75, which is incredibly slow for T20 cricket. Keep the pressure on. Keep the foot on the throat. Biggest flop player this season. There's a few candidates, isn't there, AB1? Players that we expected so much more out of that didn't quite deliver. I mean, Fraser... Oh, swing and a miss at this one from Henriques. Billings whips the bails off. And they'll probably have a look at this, but no chance. Henriques never lifted his foot. Yeah, Colin Munro's up there. Apart from that one innings, Fraser McGurk's up there. But there'll be a few Brisbane Heat players mentioned. Colin Munro, big tall Paul Walter. Sangha gets this one to go straight on. Henriques reads it well. Turns it square for a single. Good start from Sangha. Oh, Philippe sweeps from outside off. Protection out there on the rope, though. Out at mid-wicket and square. Just a single. Seth, the cricket kid. Ahoy there, mate. Yes, this is the finals. This is the winner of this goes through to... No, it's not like the grand final. No. It's the finals. But these two are playing. The winner of this game goes through to play the Hobart Hurricanes in the final. Nicely bowled again from Sangha, floating it up. And Henriques punches through the covers for one. A great over from Sangha. Just the 4 runs from it. 2 for 27 at the end of 5 overs. The Thunder on top early here. But just talking about captaincy and keeping the pressure on, we've talked about it a few times throughout the course of the BBL 14. Of course, going back to Colin Munro, captain for the Brisbane Heat. And situations where I felt like Munro was just doing things because that's what normally happens, not reading the game situation. You've got the batting team under pressure. Keep a slip in, for example. Colin Munro never did that. And Chris Green now into the attack for over number 6. They've got a decent bowling attack here, the Sydney Thunder, quite frankly. McAndrew and Agar to open, and then you've got Sangha and Green. As long as it's a wicket that turns, just going through the motions. Yes, thank you, Defunk. That surmises that surmises what took me 5 minutes to say in one sentence. But I really like this. Well, the slip's out now, so... But they kept the slip in place for that one extra over. And you just never know. It's the bowling side trying to make something happen. And Colin Munro just never gave the Brisbane Heat that sort of opportunity this season. But anyway, I digress. The Brisbane Heat are gone. All about this one here. 2 for 28, 5.2 overs gone. Green to Philippe now turns it off the pads. At least one and just the one. Dylan, ahoy there, mate. Welcome back. Sorry to hear that you've been sick, mate. Hope you're feeling much better now. At 8 runs per over, they get to 145. Will that be enough? Henriques advances down the pitch, cuts it away. But men back on the rope there. At point, easily cut off. And just 3 singles from this over. Tarkin's not impressed with the Sydney Thunder's spin bowlers. Thunder are the most boring bowling side ever. Just put 25 spin bowlers on the field. Well, first thing I will say to that is I love the exaggeration, because for those of you who have been joining the Wasted World of Sports for any time, any amount of time, you'll know that I'm very prone to exaggeration myself. So I can appreciate that comment. It hits me right here. Hang on, is that where the heart is? It hits me there anyway. I love it. 25 spinners on the field. 4 singles off the over so far. Jack Shields, ahoy, mate. Up the sixes, says Jack. And just another single here down to mid-on. And 5 off the over. This is the partnership, Lakers fan. It has to be. For the Sydney Sixers, it's got to be the partnership. I still don't understand why Philippe wasn't opening the batting. Sangha into Henriques. Cut away to the man at point. Just the one run. Philippe backs away, cuts away again, out to point. Two singles to start, not taking any chances here. The Sydney Sixers, we know that they're capable of rebuilding. We have seen them from worse scenarios than this. Rebuild an innings. Sky Fanks, ahoy! Again, through the offside, just a single. They might push for 2 here, actually. Take on the throw. Yes, they do. That's well run. Floats this one up. Henriques goes after it. Skies it just short of the man at deep point there. And they come back for a second. Risky business. But getting away with it. And 6 off this over so far. Two to go in this over. Henriques lunges down the wicket. Just fends away to the offside. A dot ball for Sangha. Well bowled again. Sky thinks, who's my favourite batter from each team? Final ball of the over. And it just chopped down into the turf. No run. A good finish to the over from Sangha. And it's 2 for 38 after 7. Slow going here for the Sixers. Okay, who's my favourite player from each team? Or favourite batter? Specifically, favourite batter. Well, I suppose I've always got Josh Philippe in my multi, so I don't know that necessarily suggests that he's one of my favourite players, but he's obviously somebody that I back to get runs more often than not. If I've always got him in my multi, so he's obviously somebody that I think quite highly of. Dehans, ahoy there, mates. As Philippe, speak of the devil, pushes down the ground to long on, just a single. Paddy Hearn says, come on, Sixers. Not a good start at all for the Sixers. Early wickets again. Who's my favourite Scorchers player? I think everybody knows the answer to that. My favourite player in the entire tournament is from the Scorchers. Philippe uppishly played. Through the gap, though. Nobody there at mid-off. Back for another single. Rebuilding. He wants two, Moises. No, that's not going to happen. Well fielded there by the Thunder. The man on the rope came charging in. Is the ground big? Is the field big? Asks Paddy Hearn. The Sydney Cricket Ground is quite large, isn't it? Philippe goes the ramp shot. Well, it wasn't really a ramp shot. It was more traditional, just guiding it down the leg side fine. Drops down to one knee and just lifts it over the top of short, fine leg. Yeah, I don't know that the SCG where they're playing tonight is necessarily the biggest ground, Paddy, but it's definitely bigger than the games we've seen recently. We've seen recent times some very small grounds. As Philippe now pulls this one on the hop, beats the man out at mid-wicket for 4. Back-to-back boundaries for the first time, I believe, this innings. JJ, how do I reckon the Sixers will go? Well, we've seen them rebuild before, haven't we? We've seen them rebuild from worse situations than the one they're in at the moment. This could be the key partnership, though. Barry Kane, 23, says, do you think this game is a sacrifice game? It depends what you mean by sacrifice game. Paddy Hearn, thank you very much for the rose. Sorry, I always get very nervous when you're in a small room full of electrical equipment and you smell smoke. It's like, now we do have neighbours that are quite consistently burning off. Now this is a shout for a run out. And this is more arse than class. The very definition of more arse than class. But when luck is going your way, it goes your way. And Philippe's been run out. Punching it back down the ground, Henriques. Sangha goes for the court and bowled. It's off his fingertips, back onto the stumps. Philippe backing up a little too far. And he's got to go. It's 3 for 50. Oh, more arse than class. Sydney Alive, thank you very much for the heart me. Three for 50. DeHons says, I know the rule, but surely Sangha gets the wicket to his name for that, even though it's a run out. No. More arse than class. And I think in that scenario, it's just fine for the wicket to stand to the team. Now, if he did it on purpose, that's a whole other thing. If Sangha quite obviously directed his hand so that it deflected onto the stumps, fair enough. Give him the wicket. Ah, that makes sense, DeHons. He's in your multi for any time wicket taker. That makes sense then. James Vince, I believe, is out injured. JJ. Yeah, I think he's been out for most of the tournament. 3 for 51. Real pressure now. Jordan Silk and Henriques. The captain's got to play a captain's knock here. Oh, Vince has gone to another tournament? Okay. He left a couple of games ago. Fair enough. Well, I knew he was either injured or he'd left. I knew either way he wasn't around. So, yeah, and that's the problem. We talk about it all the time here in the BBL. Teams signing players that are not going to be around for the entire competition. Why do they do it? Lakers fan, don't worry about UFC. He's not a cricket fan at all. So he's just ribbing everybody. You get used to him. Sangha floats this one up and driven through the covers. Should go all the way to the rope. Beautiful fielding out there. Winding back the clock. Was that David Warner? No, it wasn't. It was Weebgen. I was going to say David Warner winding back the clock. Never seen him run so hard. Favorite spin bowler? Oh, Daniel Vettori Jr., Todd Murphy. Hands down. Oh, Sangha's left the field. No surprise there. After that run out, he's probably missing a fingernail or two. For anyone who's ever played cricket, which I would say is most of us, right? And you've ever copped a stinger, he might have half a fingernail hanging off right now. So he's off the field at the moment. Vince plays for England, says Hanno. Well, there you go. Angus, ahoy there. Oh, God. Now I feel like a nice big Angus steak. Why do people have to keep having food names? Who do I have to win anyway? Ooh, look, I want the Sydney Thunder to win. But I also want to see a good game. Aliyah! Says go Thunder. Lakers fan says Nathan Lyon is older than you. Nathan Lyon looks like he's lived a very rough life. I don't want to be mean, but scoops up in the air just wide of the man at mid-off. Or mid-on, sorry. Right-handed batsman. There are always people like that, though, aren't there? Like, I went to school with a couple of blokes who easily, like, in the same grade as the rest of us, but sometimes people would think they were parents who have accidentally wandered in. Three for 59 here, 9.4 overs gone. A lot of work to be done here for the Sixers in the back end. And it could be Moises Henriques. And Jordan Silk, let's not forget. Okay, well, here's the scenario. Here is a scenario for the Sydney Sixers. They're obviously quite bogged down at the moment. I would seriously consider taking the power surge with a set Henriques and Jordan Silk. Jordan Silk, we know, can come out to the crease and hit right from ball number one. They can try and turn it around here. I think they'll obviously wait a couple of overs, I would say, but just a thought. Do something a little different. They're under the pump here. Try and turn things around. Pull that surge nice and early with these two out there, and anything could happen. Opa, thoughts on Tim David potentially leaving the Hobart Hurricanes? If I'm the Hobart Hurricanes, and I'm not, but if I'm the Hobart Hurricanes, I am moving heaven and earth itself to retain Tim David. That's what I'd be doing. If I'm picking a Big Bash team, Tim David is almost one of the first names on the list. Ten overs gone here. Drinks break for the players out there. It's been drinks break the entire time for me. It's a wasted world of sports tomorrow. God. I don't want to commit to anything that I don't end up doing is my only concern at the moment. But there are Rugby League Nines. The Rugby League Nines is back. It's not in Auckland anymore. The Rugby League Nines. And it's not sanctioned by the NRL either. But the Nines tournament is on starting tomorrow, but it starts at 8 a.m. my time. 8:25 in the morning is the first game. I thought it was a joke when I saw the schedule get announced. Like they have got to be kidding, right? 8:30 a.m. for the first game on a Saturday morning. Bloody hell, there's a lot of Saturdays. I'm only just making it home at 8 o'clock after a big night out. But I thought we might chuck it on later in the afternoon and see how it's going. All right, here we go. 3 for 62. Garton, the drinks break is over. Henriques scoops it over the top of the covers. One bounce. And the man on the rope is out there to take it. Just a single. Silk cuts it away. Straight to the man at point. No run. What's the Challenge Cup, UFC? The fact that I have to ask that question probably suggests that I don't. Silk drives down the ground, doesn't get all of it. Does he get enough on it? No. Chris Green down at long on. Bubs, ahoy there. Punch to the offside for a quick single. 3 for 65. I would be calling the surge with these two out there, if at all possible. Obviously, the Sydney Thunder, it's their job to have a thing or two to say about these two being out there. Wide, outside off, Silk reaches for it. Could have let it go, might have been a wide. Instead, dot ball. Sangha is still not comfortable out there. He's back on the field, Sangha. But you can see every time the camera cuts to him, he's feeling that hand. Definitely copped some damage. Silk backs up in the crease. Pulls it away out to square leg. Just a one. 4 runs off that over. A good one from Garton. 3 for 66. 11 overs gone. Unlucky, the wicket of Philippe. But outside of that, it's been good bowling, some good captaincy and field placement as well from the Thunder. Let's not forget that. Keeping that slip in place. Harry Wood, ahoy. Green back into the attack. Drops this one in a little short. And Jordan Silk sweeps it away. Square of the wicket for 4. Too short there from Green. Gift runs for Jordan Silk and the Sixers. Three for 70. I reckon they end up with a decent score here, the Sixers. I really do. We saw them come back from a lot worse. A hard team to keep down. Jack Seabrook, Private, ahoy there. Welcome along. Five off the opening 2 balls of this green over. Advancing down the wicket, Henriques doesn't quite get to this. Skies it, and it's been dropped in the deep. Oh, what a huge let-off. Huge moment in the game. Henriques advances, taking on the spin bowler. It hits high on the bat. Higher than he expected anyway. Should have been taken. Oh, it should have been taken. That is a huge let-off. Oh, boy. Henriques dropped on 27. Pushes away to the offside for 1. Remember this moment. Moises Henriques, the captain of the Sixers, dropped on 27 runs. How damaging will that be? Silk drives to the offside. Just a single. Pro Zone Skis, ahoy there. Green drops it in short, trying to tempt. The big shot wasn't needed though. Big one for the Sixers. Henriques dropped on 27. 10 from it. Fortnight on top. Ahoy, mate. Three for 76 after 12. Sydney Sixers. It's slow going out there, but they're continuing to rebuild. And Andrews, 12 off his first over. Back into the attack. Uppishly played from Henriques and taken. A wicket with the first ball of the over, and that's a biggie. He was dropped on 27. He's now been caught on 29. They're under the pump now, the Sixers. Benefit of hindsight, of course. Maybe, just maybe, they should have listened to me and taken the surge straight away with Henriques and Silk. That is such a big wicket. And they know it as well. Tom Andrews is pumped up. 4 for 76. Oh, that is a biggie. That is a biggie. Fortnight on top. I kind of want the Sydney Thunder to win. Just so we get something a little different. Sydney Thunder and the Hobart Hurricanes in the final. That'd be kind of cool, I think. The Sydney Sixers, I've got nothing at all against the Sydney Sixers. And if they win, especially from the position they're in right now, if they win from this position, they deserve to win. They would absolutely deserve to win if they rebuild and rebound from here. Nothing against them at all, the Sixers. I would love to be able to see something brand new. Well, it's not brand new because they've both been to the final before, but it's not something that we've seen as frequently as chopped in the air again and Shaw's gone. 2 balls in. Uppishly played. In the covers, easy catch. 2 in the over. Well, this is incredible. The Sydney Sixers hanging on by a thread. And that thread is now really starting to stretch. And it's on the verge of breaking. Five for 76. What a turn-up this has been. Sydney Thunder winning the toss, electing to field first. And they have reaped a full reward out of this wicket so far. Got to keep the foot on the throat. Corey Gibbard says, I can see Jake Weatherall leaving and can see the Renegades making a play for him as Ben Dorshus out to the wicket now. Well, here's a good power surge combo, right? Dorshus and Silk. That could be a very good power surge combination. Just to elevate themselves to some sort of total. Jordan Silk looking around. Where are my gaps? Where can I find the rope? Punches to the offside. Just the one run. Joey B. Prediction. Well, I suppose it's pretty easy to say Sydney Thunder at this point. But I had said I want the Sydney Thunder to win. Thunder Hurricanes final with the Hobart Hurricanes winning it all. That's what I would like to see. 3 runs and 2 wickets off that over. Amazing. Well bowled from End. Well, I mean, it was well bowled, but it was also some pretty poor batting. Just scooping the ball through the air. You're asking for trouble. Certainly have played those along the ground. Just not getting to the timing or pitch of the ball. A humongous over. 2 catches to the exact same man. Green back into the attack. None for 21 off 3 so far. Eight runs and over from here gets them 130 something. Which would at least be something to bowl at, but geez, they're going to get 8 and over from here. 7 overs remaining with half the batting lineup dispatched. Got to say, we've seen the Sixers recover from various situations. Difficult to see them coming back from this one. Silk backs up in the crease, turns it away to the leg side for 1. Well bowled, Green. Jack Shields, welcome back. Dorshus, no foot movement, just punches down the ground. Ryder Beatty, ahoy there. Three off the over so far, just 3 top balls. Wow. Thunder. There's going to be a big storm here. So if I lose power and the stream ends, you know what happened. Green takes the pace off this one. Big shout for LB. Wasn't even close, though, I don't think. Why did he shout for that one? Could have been worse, I suppose. He could have reviewed it. Final ball of the over. And another good spell from Green. As Silk backs away, Green follows him with the turn. And a single to finish. None for 24 off his 4 overs. None for 25, sorry. Green, another solid spell. From, let's call him the mini Bondi vet. Fortnite on top. Is there Thunder at the game? Well, there's a team called the Sydney Thunder, of course, but that's the extent of the Thunder at the game. Five for 83. And Sangha, it doesn't get any easier for the batsman. Well, Jordan Silk makes it look easy. Sangha tosses up a half volley. And Jordan Silk lifts it over mid-wicket. That's a big 6. $87 meters square. Sangha adjusts his line, puts it out a little further out of side. And it's a dot ball. Charlie, ahoy there. What's the crowd like? Down to long off for a single. Yeah, I mean, probably a decent crowd, really, for a big bash. I haven't seen too many wide shots. SCG, of course, it's a big stadium. Oh, there we go. There's a wide shot. So it was fairly large scattering of empty seats, but it looks like a fairly decent crowd. There are people everywhere. As I said, there are splatterings of empty seats, but every section at least looks full. So, yeah, it looks like a decent crowd. Dorcius lets this ball come onto the bat and cuts it away. There is actually a really big storm. There is a big storm hanging overhead at the moment, so I've got a feeling that we might lose power here at some point. Just a heads up for the chat room. If the stream drops out, I'm giving you a heads up. Oh, they push hard for a second run. And a good throw would have had him at the keeper's end. But no, it wasn't a good throw. 5 for 93, 15 overs gone. And they're calling the surge. Yes, Ben Dorcius has signaled for the surge. Gino Ferracini, ahoy. Ben Dorcius there was signalling for the surge, so it will be coming next over. Fortnite on top. Do you go to any games? No. And that was a nice, easy one, wasn't it? No, I much prefer to stay at home and stream them on social media. Coco Melon, ahoy there. 5 for 93 now. We saw Ben Dorshus signal the power surge. But we haven't seen any official treatment yet. So it looks like they're waiting. Well, what are they waiting for? You want to leave the surge until your last two batsmen. Anyway, McAndrew to come back on to bowl. Oh, here we go. It's official. The power surge. All right, anything can happen in a power surge. Ben Dorshus on strike, McAndrew to bowl. Five for 93 at the moment. 5 overs left. I mean, we talk about a minimum score being 140. Can they get to that? First ball chopped back onto the pads from Dorshus. And they'll race through for a single. So they should be able to elevate themselves somewhere around the 140 region. These two would obviously have to do it. Jordan Silk and Ben Dorshus. Oh. Jordan Silk hits this over the top of the covers for 4. McAndrew just back into the length a little bit. Silk takes a couple of steps to the leg side. Frees up the arms. Beautiful shot. 5 for 98. Now he pulls it square on the leg side. Fielder out there, though. Just the one. On the verge of the 100 being up here. So, yeah, we talk about 140 being a minimum. That is at least something to bowl at. Swing and a miss from Dorshus. Well, it wasn't really a swing. He just more hung the bat out. It's a little bit of a different situation for Dorshus, though, in fairness. He's not used to being in this early. Fortnite on top says, can I gift you something, please? Sure. McAndrew to Dorshus. It's full. Driven down the ground, but the man at mid-on the circle can't get past him. 5 for 99. 7 runs so far off this over. That's not good for a power surge. That's slow going for a power surge. Need a boundary off this ball. Pressure is on the batting team. Jordan Silk, 30 off 23, on strike. Backs away to give himself room again. Skews it to the leg side. They come back for 2. Only 9 runs from the over. A good one for the Sydney Thunder. And things are not turning around here in a hurry anyway for the Sydney Sixers. 5 for 102. 17 overs gone. Devious boys, oi there. No multis tonight. I'm bloody done with multis. I'm sick of losing by one leg. I'm going to wait till footy season. Second power surge over to commence. Who's going to bowl it? They missed out on the first over. Only 9 runs taken. And it's going to be Wes Agar. 1 for 9 off his 2 overs so far. Cautious. Takes it to the leg side. Just the one. Get Jordan Silk on strike. Why not? Silk 32 off 24. We know that Dorshers can hit big, but Silk is the more traditional, I suppose. The more recognised of the batsmen. Might just be the one to do the damage. 5 balls left in the surge. They've yet to do any damage, really. Just the one boundary. Some big deliveries here. 5 left. They need boundaries, the Sixers. Agar to Silk. Silk gets it right in the slot. Well, that's poor bowling from Wes Agar. Good batting from Jordan Silk. It was full on middle stump, right in the swinging arc. And he sends it over deep mid-wicket for 6. Boy, did they need that. And they need a couple more of them as well. Jordan Silk, he's been kind of quiet this BBL 14 in terms of his batting. Full and on the legs. Just a single. Good response there from Wes Agar. Five for 110. 3 overs to go after this one. 18 runs minimum. Yeah, they need a few boundaries here. Dorshus on strike. Beautifully bowled from Agar. Dorshus backs away on the leg side to give himself room. Agar follows him. Come back for 2. 10 off this over so far. 2 balls left in the power surge. They need another boundary. Another boundary, and this surge has a whole different complexion. Swing and a miss down the leg side. An ambitious shout for something. And where's Agar? On the money. Will Main, ahoy mate. As it is now. Wow, it's hammering down. Well, there goes my delivery. Any thought I had of delivery tonight? Hopefully it's just a quick passing storm. Final ball of the power surge. Dorshus on strike. Well bowled again from Agar. A perfect Yorker on the money. And it could only be pushed away for a single. Only 20 runs off the power surge. Not good enough for the Sixers. It's 5 for 113. 17 overs gone. All right, so minimum 6 and over. 3 overs left is 18 more runs. That's 131. They're almost there. They're almost at an absolute minimum total. They've got to sneak a few boundaries in here. And if you've got 140 on the board, we talk about it all the time. As a minimum, it's not a good score, but at least it's something to bowl at. And if you get a couple of quick wickets, then you just never know. McAndrew, full and outside off stump. Dorcius lifts it to the leg side. Green is out on the fence. They get two, though. Pushing hard for the twos. Five for 115. The winner, of course, goes on to face the Hobart Hurricanes in the final. Dorcius opens the face and cuts it away. Square of the wicket on the offside for four. Beats the diving deep square leg. Or deep backward point, that would be. That is a great shot. A much-needed boundary as well for the Stars. 5 for 119. Inside edge, back past the stumps, through the keeper, and that's four. Back-to-back boundaries. Five for 123. Well, this will be massive if they can get to 140. If they can lift themselves to 140. You just never know with this team. You never know with BBL, but specifically this team, the Sydney Sixers, that just never go away. Clubbed back down the ground. And pushing for two. Good running between the wickets again. 5 for 125. $17.4 gone. Full toss and Dorcius deals with it. Gets a maximum. Oh, this game's turning. It might be turning a little too late, but it's turning. The Sydney Sixers, once again, they just refuse to die. They're like the cockroach of Big Bash cricket. You think they're down and out. You think they're dead. Here they come. Joker, ahoy, mate. Cheers. Five for 131. 2 overs to go after this one. We talk about 140 being a minimum. Not a good score, but a minimum. 140 is something to bowl at. And the Sydney Sixers bowling attack. They come through for a quick single. Dorcius doesn't get to that one. A big over. The biggest over of their innings so far. And it wasn't even off a power play or a power surge. That's incredible. There were only 20 runs taken across the 2 power surge overs. And now they've come out and absolutely plastered this one. Dorcius is a cheat code, says James. James D, 74. Garton, 1 over, none for 4. Back into the attack. 5 for 132 here, so this is not necessarily done. They're going to end up with a total to bowl at here. Slower ball, Dorcius. Slightly off the top edge. Skies it. The man comes in from the rope and takes the catch. And the cheat code is deactivated. 6 for 132. What a nice little cameo from Dorcius, though. 30 runs off 19 balls has given his team some degree of hope. Something to bowl at. It might not be the best total in the world, but it is something to bowl at least a couple of early wickets. And we still have game on here. Very much so. And they know how big that is, the Thunder. They realised this game was just starting to edge away from them a wee bit. A big wicket there. 6 for 132. Look, I think the way that the Sydney Sixers have gone about this innings, they'll take 140. 140 plus. If they can sneak 150. It was looking very likely that they wouldn't even get close to this. Hayden Kerr out to bat now. So yeah, it was looking unlikely. They'll take this. They'll back themselves with a couple of early wickets. Garton to Kerr. Driven square on the leg side. Out to mid-wicket. Just a single. Get Jordan Silk on strike. That's the smart play. 6 for 133. Silk backs away. Someone's moving around down at the sight screen. Come on. We were talking about this the other night, weren't we? Like, I remember going to games when I was little and the sight screens were on wheels on the field. And they were tiny. Players have got it good these days and they're still complaining. But anyway. In again. Take two. Garton drops it in short. Silk pulls it not into the gap. He picks out the man at deep mid-wicket. And they come through for the single. Lachlan says that the Canes are winning the comp. Well, I hope so, Lachlan. I really do. I truly do. The Hurricanes, always the bridesmaids, never the bride. They're deserving. I'm not a Canes fan, no, but for the reasons I just said, I go for the Brisbane Heat. As Kerr scoops this fine down the leg side, and that's 6. Garton, too short. And too far down the leg side. Kerr just helps it on its way. The 140 is up. So it is game on here. We talk about 140 as a minimum. Not as a good score, but as a minimum. Something to bowl at. Well, they've made it. The Sydney Sixers just refuse to go away. And they now have something to bowl at. And there are still 8 balls to go. Beats everybody and they'll come through for a single. Six for 141. 59 runs off the last 30 balls. Driven down the ground from Silk, just the single. Or they might push for 2 here. 2 would be the best result for the Thunder. And they do take 2. 6 for 143, the end of 19. They'll have Hayden Kerr on strike for the final over. So they're going to waste a ball here, pushing a single. I would have just taken the single there. I realize that one run can be very crucial to a total. So they've taken the 2. But you want Jordan Silk on strike for as many of those last 6 balls as possible, right? They're going to burn off now at least one delivery, getting Jordan Silk back on strike. I would have taken the single. You could see David Warner didn't even throw the ball back in. He wanted them to take the two. This is exactly what the Sydney Thunder wanted. Hayden Kerr on strike. It at least chews off a ball. Agar to Kerr, scoops it down the field. And they've got the single. They've got Jordan Silk back on strike. But that's now chewed up a delivery. Rock my balls, ahoy mate. Says go Melbourne. No Melbourne teams left, they're all out. I'm sorry to tell you. This is Sydney versus Sydney, and the winner of this will be playing Hobart in the final. Agar drifts down the leg side, could have let it go for a wide. They've got to push hard for two here, have to. And they do as Billings drops it. They had to take the two there. Jordan Silk is now one big hit away from his 50. Oh, no, he's not. Leg buys. That was not off the bat. So he's still on 42. Nice Yorker there from Agar. Slightly overpitched, but no damage done. They're just through for the single. Well, Jordan Silk, he could still get his 50, but he needs to strike back this ball. Six for 147. Oh, a no ball! Well, this is massive. This is huge. Where's Agar's been called for a no ball? And this will be a free hit. A free hit for Hayden Kerr. They took the single, and there will now be an extra ball as that one has to be bowled again. Free hit here for Kerr. And it's beautifully bowled from Agar. Yorker right on the money. They push hardy for two here. They come back for a second run. So not a whole lot of damage done, but yes, clearly he's overstepped by a long way there. Where's Agar? So there's just a replay of that no ball that was called. He's over a long, long way. Logan, ahoy mate. Welcome back. Three balls left in the innings. Swing and a miss. They've got to come through for the single, surely? No. They don't. A dot ball. And that dot ball now nullifies the no ball and free hit. Good bowling from Agar. The Sixers, though, they'll be happy. 150. If they can get a boundary here off these final two balls. 150. It's not the biggest score, but it is defendable. It's something to bowl at the very least. Agar to Kerr. Straight up in the air, should be caught. Billings will come in and get under it and take the catch. Where's Agar gets two. Hayden Kerr's on his way. They needed Jordan Silk on strike. I don't understand. They've ended up with 150 here, the Sixers. Which, considering how the innings started for them, I'm sure that they will happily take. But surely you have Jordan Silk on strike for your set batsman who's 43 or 30 needs to take most of the last over. I appreciate that they've been trying to eke out every single run because that one extra run could prove a difference maker. But honestly, they're wasting deliveries and now wickets falling, another wasted delivery. They're taking away their own opportunities at a potential boundary. Yeah, it's a tough one. I completely understand what they're doing, but yeah, I think, and it's easy for me to stand here and sip my drink and say it's very different when you're out there in the moment, isn't it? But I feel like they just got it a little bit wrong here at the back end. They had an opportunity to elevate themselves to a very decent total. At least they've got something to bowl at, though. The Sydney Sixers here, 7 for 151 at the end of 20 overs. And after the way they started, they will take that. I mean, right? Lakers fan is going for the Sixers. So I think Sixers fans, they'll take that after a very rough start. It's at least a score now, and the Sydney Sixers have the bowlers. We know they have the bowlers capable of defending such a total. Ollie is the best. Your friend Denver says ahoy. Is your friend Denver a dinosaur by any chance? And is he the last one? Denver, the last dinosaur. Good cartoon. Cartoon that I used to watch when I was a kid. Denver, the last dinosaur. He's my friend, and a whole lot more. Actually don't know quite what that means now, looking back. I think back to that theme song, and I'm like, Denver, the last dinosaur, he's my friend, and a whole lot more. Like, what? What do you mean a whole lot more? What's the whole lot more part? Or are these questions we shouldn't ask? The old Panther. Ahoy there. MCG is the biggest ground and also biggest stadium in Australia. Yeah, don't worry about UFC. UFC is doesn't follow cricket, so he likes to just hang out in the chat rooms and talk nonsense. So we weren't worried about that at all. But thank you, old Panther. Anyway, for the stats there. MCG, the biggest ground and also the biggest stadium in Australia. But yes, that was just UFC being UFC. We're used to him. He wants to hear our gridiron story too, the next generation's podcast. He's already come out and said, remind me to ask about that gridiron story at the next generation's podcast. Joel reckons Thunder are still losing. Watch this. James Simons says, do you think Kurt and Dorsius will both get 2 wickets? I wouldn't be surprised if Dorsius got 2. Ollie is the best. Denver and Lee are shouting us a party. Oh, very nice. It's party central over there. As always, that's the way, lads. James, that's all you need for your multi, and you win $800 off 5. Very nice. Very nice. See, what James has done there. Those are the sorts of multis I look for as well. Small outlay for a very high potential reward. Now, we don't win very many of them, but when we do, all you need is a couple back-to-back. If you manage to sneak a couple back-to-back, you've got yourself all covered up for the season. Joker says, did you know Djokovic is out because of injury? I did hear about that, yes. I did hear about Novak Djokovic retiring from the Australian Open. Yeah, I did the same in the State of Origin. State of Origin last year. It was such a good moment on stream. I had the 4 try scorers, and I had Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards was the last leg of the multi. I'd already got the previous 3, and I just needed Dylan Edwards to score a try. It was a $10 wager for a $900 payout. Got very excited when Dylan Edwards scooted through the gap to score. Dayan, 2424. Who do I think will win? Oh, geez, I would really, honestly, I would love the Sydney Thunder to win, despite David Warner. Forget about the Hobart. I wouldn't mind the Sydney Thunder winning anyway. Seven for 151 exclusive. The run chase will commence. It's usually about 10 minutes in between innings. Of which we've already called off a couple. Oh, what's this all about? Netflix cancels Six Nations documentary. Why? That's a bit disappointing. Laugh, ahoy there. How did Smith get out? Sorry, Laugh, I'm not quite understanding the question. Noah B, 875, you think the Sixers are losing? They've got to score. They've got to score. How many times do we talk about it? Get yourself a total, something defendable. And they've got themselves something defendable. We talk about 140 being a minimum, not a good score. 140 is not a good score. 151 is not necessarily a good score, but it's something to bowl at. A couple of early wickets, and then suddenly the chasing team is under immense pressure, right? We've seen it happen so many times. I mean, the Sydney Sixers will go into that innings break. Happy's probably not the right word, but content. After the way they started, they've set themselves a score at least. So, yeah, I don't think they'll be too despondent. A couple of early wickets, you just never know. All I'm saying is, Sydney Sixers fans, I'm not a Sydney Sixers fan. I go for the Brisbane Heat. So, take it from somebody who knows pain. At least you've got something to bowl at. This is at least a score to bowl at. There's still a chance. We're saying there's a chance. Yes, indeed. How did Patterson get out? Patterson. Curtis Patterson caught green, bowled Agar. Yes, Patterson went for that ridiculous pull shot. Got the top edge that went straight up, and Green took the catch at mid-wicket. It was Edwards, I think it was. Edwards who scooped it straight to David Warner at mid-off. Head height. $150 is a good score. Nathan, that's exactly what we were just talking about. Not necessarily a good score, but something to bowl at least. It's a defendable total. With a couple of early wickets and some good type bowling. It is a defendable total. All right. Oh, hang on. I've got to have a look out the window. Actually, it's easier if I leave. Because I think it has stopped. I think it's stopped storming here. Oh, fantastic. All right. The storm has officially subsided. So I can get my delivery after all, perhaps. All right, Wastewater Sports innings break here. 7 for 151 is the total that's been set for the Sydney Sixers. The run chase coming up right after the break. Be right back. Mr. Ed's dead. Ahoy. The run chase about to commence here. Beats A1. Ahoy, mate. Jacob. Ahoy. Ben Dorcius has got the ball, and he will be bowling the first over. Is this run chase set to get underway? The Sydney Thunder. 152 is what's needed. Should be a relatively simple ask. A slip in place. They want early wickets. Almost chopped back on with the first delivery. Sangha. Desperately close to the top of the stumps there. Oh, this is going to be a very, very interesting run chase. I mean, pressure does crazy things, right? That's the scenario that we're in here. The pressure of finals. Dorcius in again. Wide outside off stump. Sangha reaches for it. No multi on this one. Beats. I didn't get up in time to put one on, and I wasn't that concerned about tonight anyway. Driven back down the ground, straight down the ground. One bouncing over the rope for 4. Sangha with authority on that straight drive. Poor delivery, that one from Dorcius. Now drifts onto the pad, scoops it up in the air. It'll land safely out to square leg on the rope. They'll come back for 2. Sangha thinking about a third. 146 needed of 116. Nathan Locke reckons Warner's going to make some runs tonight. Well, he missed out last time, didn't he? So he's due tonight. Onto the pads again. Sangha just lifts it square on the leg side with ease. And poor bowling here from Ben Dorcius, drifting onto the pads. Sangha just helps it on its way. None for 10 here. A good start. Mitchell Vela Sport, ahoy. Final ball for Dorcius. Driven down the ground from Sangha again. Well, he loves these straight drives. And the Sydney Thunder, none for 14 after the first over. Dorcius has been taken a task. That was some really poor bowling after the opening 2 deliveries. Some really poor bowling. Nathan Locke. Oh, no, sorry. Jocker asked the question, and Nathan Locke has shared an answer. But Jocker has asked, what would you rather do? Get your captain out on 99 or drop his hat-trick ball? Oh. Oh, God. I would not want to be... Forget about whether it's the captain or not. I wouldn't want to be the one that dropped anybody's hat-trick ball. You would feel terrible. You would feel absolutely horrible as Hayden Kerr will bowl the second over here for the Sixers. They need to tighten things up ASAP. Warner steps across the stumps, gives himself room on the leg side, and just scoops it. Scoops it over long leg for 6. And the Hobart is off to a good start. Hoping for another duck, says Michelle. Yeah, look, I'm going for the Sydney Thunder tonight, despite the fact that David Warner plays for them. They come through for a quick leg bye. So we had a nice little storm here earlier. Phoenix, if that's what you're talking about. Phoenix asking what moment did my internet cut out, like a 4 or a 6. I was just saying it might cut out at some point on account of the storm. But we survived. We've come through the other end just fine. Seven off this over to start, and really making light work of this run chase at the moment. Wickets will do the trick. Sangha. Misfield and through. Could it go all the way to the rope? A misfield in the covers. Jordan Silk saves the boundary, but they'll come back for 3. Well, the Sydney Thunder, they are off to a fantastic start. The Sixers have missed the jump here. They missed the jump when they were batting. They've now missed the jump with the ball as well. They're getting tonked. The Sydney Thunder making very light work of this chase. 128 needed off 111. That required run rate, which started at almost 8 runs and over, has now come down below 7. Kerr follows Warner, well fielded on this occasion. Some wry smiles all around there from the Sydney Sixers fielders. Well, what's this? You know, I got a really weird voicemail this morning. It was the most bizarre voicemail I've ever received. Actually, I should post it. I should post it somewhere, my reaction to it. Because I'm still trying to figure out what the hell it says. It sounded like somebody was asleep or someone was asleep or in the middle of some sort of business and have accidentally rolled on their phone, and I've copped a butt dial and it's gone through to my voicemail. It was very bizarre. I know it wasn't you, Michelle. It was from it was from a number in Melbourne. Beats the bat. Warner comes through for the leg bye. Ethan Toy, ahoy there. None for 25. 2 overs gone. Sydney Thunder making light work of this run chase at the moment. Ethan asks, is this a big game? It's it's kind of a big deal. The winner of this game will go through to face the Hobart Hurricanes in the final. Podioski's butt dialed you a few times lately. I reckon he's done it on purpose. That's him secretly just trying to remain in the mind of gotta get on a stream one night. Gotta get on a stream. But I don't want to seem too pushy. I know, I'll just accidentally call. Ezra Robertson, ahoy, mate. As Perry starts with a dot ball. A much-needed one for the Sydney Sixers. Well, they need wickets and dots. Wide outside off stump, too wide. Warner cuts it away into the gap for 4. Wow, that's just bread and butter. We talk about it. Bread and butter for quality batsmen. And we might not like the Hobart, but he's a good batsman when he gets going. And he has just sent this sailing away to the rope. Phoenix. Come back to that. Goes again. Warner slightly off pace from Perry. And Warner was through the shot way too early. And a dot ball. Ezra Robertson, you played against Sangha and Perry. And here's you drinking piss, watching them play professionally. Sue says Warner gets 68. Very specifically, 68. None for 29 here. The Thunder. Warner advances down the pitch, scoops it straight to Dorcius at mid-on, and that is David Warner gone for 11. Well, he has just hit it straight to the man at mid-on. He cares not for your multis. David Warner has seen the chat room and he's gone, bollocks these predictions. I'm getting out for 11. I'm not staying out here for 68 and 76. No, I'm going back now. Scoops it straight to the man at mid-on. And he's on his way. And is that the little opening that the Sydney Sixers need? The Thunder, 1 for 29. And the gate just opens a little bit. Matt Gilks out to the wicket now. Jacob says Heat will win the BBL. Down the leg side, Perry to Gilks. He's able to just turn that off the hip. An easy 2. Poor bowling there. Now, the Sydney Sixers, they're getting the ball to swing, but the swing is causing them to lose their line a wee bit. Drifting onto the pads way too often. Final ball of the over here for Perry. A good one. 4 runs from it and a wicket so far. Driven down the ground by Jelks. Can he beat the man at mid-off? No. A fantastic army roll there from the captain. And it's 1 for 32 at the end of 3. They're still cruising along here, the Sydney Thunder. Obviously, they'll have to keep an eye on those wickets, though. Jocker asks, how did Warner get out? He just lobbed it straight to the man at mid-on. Like, literally straight to him. Like he purposely threw his wicket away. Almost. It's almost like he was out there batting with TikTok open, saw the David Warner score predictions in the chat room and went, nah, bollocks it, I'm not staying out here that long. And he just whoop, paddled it up to mid-on, and on his way he went. Jack Edwards now into the bowling attack. Edwards to Gilks. Wide outside off stump. Gilks looks to cut it over the top of the covers. Gets a bottom edge. Down onto his toe. And it's back to the bowler for a dot ball. One for 32. Jack Edwards looks like No, actually, no, I'm not going to say it. It's not mean spirited, but yeah, I'm not going to say it. It might be taken as mean. Jelks drives to the offside, can't beat the man at mid-off. But they come through for a single. 1 for 33. That required run rate still hovering around 7. That's what the Sixers need. They can't let the Thunder get too far on top of that. And the current run rate for the first time has dropped under 10. Edwards slows the pace up, beats the bat. A shout for LBW from behind the stumps, but ambitious at best. When is the final against Hobart? It is on Australia Day, Monday. I'm pretty sure. Sangha goes for the big pull shot, but edges it square of the wicket. Or backward square, through for a single. Two deliveries left in the power play. And it's been a good one for the Sydney Thunder, despite the wicket of Warner. Jelks tries to drive away to the offside. Can't beat the man in the circle. Another dot ball. Just 2 runs off this over. A good one for the Sydney Sixers. 118 needed off 97. Edwards chops it down. Oh. Dear God, what have we missed? We have missed a dropped catch by the looks of it. Menanti with his first ball. It is skied high. And a simple catch. That should have been an easy take. The man at long on has dropped it. Well, what a moment that could be. A dropped catch. And now, reverse sweep away for 4 from Sangha. Talk about insult to injury. A dropped catch. And then a boundary right off the back of it. Unbelievable. Well, that was such a simple catch. Sangha turns it fine down the leg side. This could race away. No, it won't get past Dorcius. Well, it got past him, but it won't beat him to the rope. Well, how big will that drop catch be? It's skied up in the air again, and it drops short. Well, they are riding their luck here, the Sydney Thunder. One for 43, 4.4 overs done. Head back to the bowler for a dot ball. .109 needed from 91. They are right in their luck. Jelks backs away, gives himself room. Cuts to the leg side. Protection on the rope out there at point. 1 for 44 after 5. Oh, they've got to take their chances. I was off accepting my delivery. Came back for that, a dropped catch. Michelle going for the sixes. Perry 1 for 5. Back into the bowling attack. Jelks on strike. Scoops this in the air through the offside in the gap, but man on the rope out there at point, just the 1 run. One for 45. Yeah, that's a big let off. When you're defending a lower total or not the best score. I mean, look, 150 is not the worst score in the world, but obviously it's not that good either. You've got to take your chances. When they're given to you like that, you've got to take your chances. Will Main says, who do we want to win? Look, I would love to see, despite David Warner playing for them, I wouldn't mind seeing the Sydney Thunder win. Sydney Thunder, Hobart Hurricanes. Like, we get the Sixers and the Scorchers, and like, we get them in the finals all the time. It'd be nice to have, as Jelks gets it off the outside edge, away for 4. Away it goes for 4. More arse than class. Six off this over so far. Another good one for the Thunder. Jelks pulls this away with authority. Will it go all the way? Oh, yes, it does. It's gone down the tunnel. It's down the tunnel to the pavilion. It's out the back. They're going to go and have to fetch that one. Big 6. 85 meters. Jelks, the man who was dropped. Making them pay. Driven straight to the man at cover. Dot ball. 96 needed off 86. I mean, it should be. It should be a relatively easy chase down from here. Final ball of the over. Driven back to the bowler. 2 dots to finish. The Perry manages to tighten things up. 1 for 56. 6 overs gone. It is the Thunder well and truly on top here. But as we know, wickets can change a game in an instant. That's why those catches are so important. Every opportunity here important for the Sydney Sixers. Try and get themselves back in this game. The comparison, the worm has got the Thunder on top from start to current. Manatee in for his second over. Should have had a wicket. Steve Smith is off on international duty. He's also injured. Well, not a big injury. Just a shoulder niggle or something. Shoulder or elbow. Can't remember which. But either way, he's off. Direct hit from the outfield. That ball could have skewed off anywhere. Elbow. There you go. Too much wanking. From we? .94 off 82. Should be a simple chase down here. Sangha. Happy to just take the ones, punish the bad balls. UFC says bring on Stoinis. We need Stoinis. As this one's sliced away through the covers, but Jordan Silk out there on the rope. Sue, who's my favorite player in the test squad? Cooper Connolly. Youngblood. Six off this over so far. 1 ball to go. 90 off 79. Sangha rocks onto the back foot, turns it down the leg side for another single. They're in control of things here. The Sydney Thunder, 1 for 62. 7 overs gone. Required run rate back under 7 and over. Should be able to do it pretty easily from here. Chauhan into the bowling attack. We saw that the Sydney Thunder spinners managed to get on top. Can the Sixers do the same? Sangha on strike. Wide down the leg side to start, and he just scoops it off the pads. Protection out there at deep square. Just in case he does exactly that and gets the line wrong. Only a single. .88 from 77. And Sangha and Jilks both very set now. Jilks cuts it straight back into the pitch. And a dot ball. Good bowling from Chauhan. Wickets are the key now for the Sydney Sixers. Jilks just waits for the ball to spin on. Gets onto the back foot. Pulled out to mid-wicket for a single. Very low-risk play at the moment here for the Sydney Thunder. I think they realise they're pretty well on top here. And don't need to do anything too adventurous. Only 2 runs off this over so far. It's a good one from Chauhan. Drops this in a little too short. Sangha pulls it away, sweeps it away, and he has picked out the man at deep mid-wicket. And Chauhan gets the breakthrough. Well, we were just saying they don't need to do anything ridiculous. And then Sangha goes and does something ridiculous. The Sydney Sixers, the cockroaches of the BBL, refuse to die. And they're still in it. They're not going away. Well, that was an absolutely nothing wicket. Sangha, 30 off 19, has just thrown it all away. He had that in full control. The Thunder had this run chase in full control. And that's a nothing wicket. Unbelievable. 2 for 65. And they're just keeping that gate open a little bit. Sam Billings now out to the crease. And if they can knock him over early, that would be a rather huge moment. Chauhan with 1 left. Billings turns it square on the leg side. He's off the mark immediately. It's 2 for 66. But the Thunder have got the breakthrough. The hell was that? That sounded like a I don't know if everyone's familiar with this sound, but that sounded like a Beyblade getting ripped. Edwards back into bowl. None for 3 off his first over. All right, let's get a social media shot. Billings on strike. Lifts it on the leg side. Just the 1 run. Edwards, none for 4 off 1.1. He's bowling well. Edwards to Jelks again. Turned square on the leg side. Easy single. They push for two. That's well run. Philippe with the backhanded throw at the stumps. (83 of 70). Edwards goes around the wicket now. Jelks. Late cut. Well fielded down there on the boundary at third man. And back for another two, though. Easy running between the wickets. And in three deliveries, they've knocked 5 off the total. 81 of 69. .3 overs gone. Jelks, 25 off 21. What was he? He was dropped in the single figures, wasn't he? Happy to just turn this past Philippe. Gets it very fine. And they come back for two. Direct hit will be close. Direct hit will be close. Edwards, though. Edwards, he's got in the way, I think. He looks very upset with himself. He knew it immediately, Edwards. He's like, oh, bollocks, I've got in the way of this. Coming back for the second run. Edwards, he's got those big mitts. Taking the bails off. Edwards just gets those big mitts. Too close to the stumps. And the bails are off. Well, we've seen these given, though. Glenn McGrath got one like that against South Africa in a World Cup at a very crucial time. Given his way, so... Are the bails still on is what we're looking at here. Are the bails still on? Well, like I said, look, Glenn McGrath got one given exactly like this in a World Cup against South Africa at a very critical time. So if that is anything to go by, this should be given as well. Have the bails stayed on? If the bails are still on, you're allowed to touch the stumps. As long as he has not dislodged the bails, you're allowed to touch the stumps. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't dislodge the bails, though. If the bails are still on, then in fairness, this is out. But geez, I wouldn't want to be the one making this decision. I'm detaching myself from this decision. They want a split screen of this particular shot front on rather than right up Edwards' ass. One more frame, no line up on the bails. This is going to be given, isn't it? They're going to give this out. Well, like I've been... Wow. Well, I've got to say, I have been pissing and moaning for years about that Glenn McGrath decision in the World Cup. So I hope they don't give it, because then I've got nothing to complain about anymore. Give me $5. Ahoy, mate. How are you? The longer this goes on, the more likely it looks like it's going to be given. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is to be given, just like a try in the rugby league. And this is going to be given out. It's been given out. Well. Three for 72. Jilks has been run out. A direct hit. From the boundary. And there will be some questions asked about that. That will be a talking point. 3 for 72. And the Sixers just refuse to go away. Michelle asks how I even remember that Glenn McGrath moment. Because it was such a critical moment in the game is why. It was such a massive moment in the game and it robbed South Africa of a chance of victory. And of course, that was the McGrath, Warne, Gillespie. Like Australia just had a gun team, so they didn't need help. They didn't need decisions given to them to help them along their way to winning. They were probably going to win anyway. They were that good. But yeah, I just remember I was furious. I was pissed off for weeks after that. I obviously still haven't gotten over it all these years later. Anyway, 3 for 72. Edwards has got 2 left. Chance of another run out here. Misses the stumps. Well, as they say, it's all happening out there. Pressure now on the batting side, 79 of 67. But they find themselves now 3 wickets down. Give me $5. There's not long until the footy season now. Hell yeah. Billings just guides this down to long on for a single. They won't be pushing for 2s. Not for a while. 3 for 74. 9 overs gone. Oh, tell me, Michelle, I still have photographic, video memory. Video memory. I don't even need to look up the highlights on YouTube. I've got video memory of the Harry Grant double movement that was awarded a try that stole the the state of origin from New South Wales that year. Yeah, some really... It'd be nice if I remembered the good moments so well, you know? Like the Sharks 2016 grand final win, I barely remember. Just key points. But the negatively emotional ones, I can remember minute for minute. I need to work on that. I'd like to be able to look back at the end of my life and go, I remember so perfectly all the good times. Not the bad ones. But anyway, it's just sport, isn't it? It's only sport. Who cares at the end of the day? Chauhan back into the attack. Two singles to start. 3 for 76. Oh yeah, the forward pass. I still don't even understand. Like, of all the times to call, of all the times the Queenslanders to jump up and down and cry foul over a forward pass. I mean, were they not watching? Teddy actually had to stop running in support, reach backwards to take the catch. I don't understand it. And I'm sure in Queenslanders' eyes, we have done exactly the same. I mean, look at Nate from We Are Family on YouTube, who always reckons that we piss and moan about Queensland all the time. But I can't understand that. It was forward! Like, the dude running in support literally had to stop and dive backwards almost off his feet, backwards, to take the catch. How in any dimension is that physically forward? Anyway, I digress. 3 for 78 here. Chopped back past the stumps. Oh, Chauhan puts his hands up to his head. He can't believe that's missed the stumps. 10 overs gone. It's 3 for 79. It's a drinks break for the players out there. It's been a gigantic drinks break from ball number 1 for me. So maybe whenever the players have a drinks break, I should have an anti-drinks break. For the duration, I don't have a single drink. Michelle says, also clear vision of Slater karate kicking. Oh, you're going to have to narrow that down. You will have to narrow that one down a wee bit. Michelle, I mean, there could legitimately be a 2-hour-long, at least, compilation video on YouTube of Billy Slater kicking people in the face. Delicately poised this game. The Sydney Thunder still requiring 73 runs. And that run rate, the required run rate, it has just hovered around 7 and 8. The Sydney Thunder have not really got completely on top of it, and the Sixers have not let it slide. Very interesting game. Look, I would hope that the Sydney Thunder get it done. I would love to see a Thunder. I mean, I wanted to see a Melbourne Stars Hobart Hurricanes final as a neutral. But out of the two Sydney teams, despite the Hobbit, I wouldn't mind seeing the Sydney Thunder in there. Sydney Thunder versus Hobart Hurricanes. Catch you later. Give me $5. Ben Dorcius to Sam Billings. This game recommences. 73 needed off 60. Turned around for a single to the leg side. Oh, yeah, 100%, Michelle. That happens every year. Dorcius to Billings. Pushes this away for a single to the offside. Sean Day says Thunder have to win here for sure. Or have the win here for sure. Oh, I wouldn't say for sure. I would be very nervous about saying for sure. They're still on top. They are still on top, absolutely. Despite the 3 wickets falling, they are still on top. But, yeah, I would be very, very nervous about saying for sure. I don't think there's any certainties at the moment as the current run rate and the required run rate now almost meet for the first time this innings. $72 or $57. Dorcius to Webkin. Bends it away to the offside. Racing through for a quick single. 3 for 81. When was the last boundary? The last boundary is off the timeline. So the Sixers have really done well at tightening things up here. 2 deliveries left in this over. Down the leg side. Well, gets underneath it and scoops it all the way for 6. Over fine leg. We were just talking about when was the last boundary, and Dorcius has completely lost his line there. Completely loses his line. That's just guided over the fence for 6. Simple for Billings. And a good over on that one delivery. Just becomes a pretty poor one. Scooped off the pads again, but doesn't get it fine enough this time. Deep square will cut it off and just a single. Vincent Spears Music, ahoy there, mate. How are you? 3 for 88, 11 gone. Matthew Dolby, who's left to bat for Sydney, please? All right, let's have a look. I do not know off the top of my head, but we can have a look at the scorecard. Chris Green, George Garton, Nathan McAndrew, Tom Andrews, Wes Agar. Billings chops it to the leg side, just a single again. Chauhan, 1 for 9, 2.1 overs. Back into the attack. Nice full ball. Driven down to long on. Thinking about a second, but that would be crazy. They settle for 1. 62 or 52. Delicately poised this game. Chauhan floats it up. They come through for a quick single. Easy single in the end on the misfield. 7.15 is the required run rate. 7.94 is the current. Things are tight. 3 for 91, 61 or 51. Oh, that's a loose one from Chauhan and Wiebken. Drives it down the ground for 1. They come back for a second. They do. Well run. That one just slipped out of the hand a bit from Chauhan. 5 off the over so far. Turned away to the leg side. Just the 1. The Thunder, of course, still have the power surge up their sleeve. Let's not forget that. The surge is still there. Wickets are the key for the Sixers. Final ball of the over. Billings on the back foot. Punches to the offside. Just 1. It's a good enough over for the Thunder. 7 from it. Three for 95, 12 overs gone. Vincent Spears Music, it says, go the Thunder, will beat the Hurricanes in the grand final if we make it. Oh, somebody new. With an emoji as a name. Hang on, I need to move the emojis closer so that I can see them. It's a pink ribbon. Ahoy there, ribbon. Welcome along. 3 for 95, 12 gone. Hayden Kerr back into the bowling attack. He got sent for 10 off his opening over. He'll obviously need to tighten it up on this over. Billings Slashes through the covers into the gap for 4. Well, that is not tightening things up. Fantastic shot, though, from Sam Billings. Times it well and just guides it into the gap through the covers for 4. Perfectly placed. Well, it could be Sam Billings' night. Who was it? Sue. Sue in the chat room said Billings will win it for the Thunder, not out. And that was said quite some time ago as Billings hangs the bat out. There was some deviation there after the fact, but nobody heard anything. Yes, it was Sue. Quite a few overs ago, saying Billings will win it for the Thunder, not out. 21 or 16 at the moment. There was some deviation there. Clear deviation. There was no shout, no review. Billings just guides this down to third man for a single. Chauhan's down there, loses his hat. $52 or $45. That's what's required here. Should be able to see it through. Swing and a miss, outside off. Hockey Bragger, ahoy mate. The 100 is up for the Thunder. I'm still not willing to say that anything is for sure at this stage. The Thunder quite obviously on top, but a couple of wickets. Wow, speak of the devil, there's one. Wibkin chops it back onto his stumps. And Hayden Kerr gets the wicket. The cockroaches of the BBL once again refuse to go away. They refuse to die. There's been a whole can of Raid sprayed on them, but they still live. 4 for 100. Huge wicket. Well, Billings would have been the huge wicket, but that's still a big one. Chopping back onto the stumps. Wigbegin goes for 8 of 10. And that gate is just slightly further open. This game is not done yet. Like I said, quite a few people have been saying in the chat room, Thunder for sure, Thunder for sure. I was not willing to say anything was for sure just yet. We have been following BBL for too long to know that anything is for sure, as Chris Green, the mini-me Bondi vet, out to the crease. Cuts it away. There is protection out there at deep point. Just a single. 6 and a wicket off that over for Hayden Kerr. A much better one. It's 4 for 101. 51 needed. Oh, this one's going down to the wire again. Again. 13 overs gone, 4 for 101. Perry back into the attack, 1 for 17 off his 2 so far. Green has got the strike. Swing and a miss, outside off. Perfect line and length from Perry. That's where to bowl. Oh, God, I would have a slip in place. I would. I understand it would be risky. You're taking a fielder away from somewhere else, but, God, I would have a slip in for Green at least. Billings, not so much, but get a slip in place for the new man. Perry to Green. Big appeal for LBW. I don't know why, but another dot ball. This is getting tense. Pressure is starting to swing back onto the batting team. More and more dot balls, more and more wickets. That run rate tightening up. The run rate required for the first time all innings is below. Is above the current run rate. The current run rate has dropped below the required run rate for the first time this innings. There. I got it out eventually. Green cuts it through the covers into the gap, but the man in the deep there fires it back in. They'll come back for 2. $51 needed off 40. 49 off 39 now. Sorry, they took that too. 49 off 39. 13.3 overs gone. This one, the Thunder are still on top. With 6 wickets left in the dugout, they should chase it down. Green advances, and it falls just short of the man at mid-off. And they come through for a quick single. Oh, Chris Green, though, risky shot. Uppishly played. DeHons 03 says Billings for 20 has been a lock so many times this year. Yes, and Sam Billings has won me a few to hit a 6s as well. Chopped back onto the pads there from Billings, through for a single. Four off this over. They've still got the power surge up their sleeve. That's the advantage for the Thunder. The power surge is still in the bank, but, I mean, they need to use it when they've got a batsman out there, right? Green on strike, scoops it down the ground to long on for a single to finish that over. 5 runs off it, a good one for the Sydney Sixers. 4 for 106, 46 needed off 36 balls at 7.46 and over. Campbell, ahoy there. Campbell says Green has been very reliable this season. Oh, and with bat and ball, right? Is probably what you're suggesting that I'm agreeing with. Yes, bat and ball. Especially ball. Four for 106. Showan back into the bowling attack. It's full. Driven down the ground, just a single. Gets Billings on strike. .55 is the current run rate. 7.71 is the required. As this game goes down to the wire. They're going to push for 2 here. A good throw would have been a chance, but... .43 off 34. Billings is the big wicket. Joan Billings advances, hits it back to him, fires it up his ass. The return throw. The bump ball back to Shoan. Has tried to throw the stumps down, but it just rockets right up Billings' anus. Ball for 109, 43 of 33. Billings could hold the key here. Shoan floats it up, and it's just bended back down the pitch. Another top ball. Shoan's bowling so well. So well. 2 balls left. Only 3 runs from this over so far. It's been a great one. And again, fended away. Dot ball. This is beautiful bowling. Shoan. Shoan's the new Rashid Khan. Final ball of what has been a sensational over so far. Can he finish it off, or can Billings disrupt? Slices away through the gap for 4. He can disrupt. Sam Billings will not be dominated. Ends with a boundary, turns it into a good over for the Thunder. 7 runs from it, but, I mean, they do need a little more than that. The power surge up the sleeve, though, let's not forget. The surge up the sleeve. That was a massive boundary. $39 runs to win. With 6 wickets in the dugout, 5 overs left, they should be able to cruise this in. Power surge up their sleeve. The Thunder, they're still on top. Green on strike. No run. Miscommunication. Out if he hits, but he misfields. Jordan Silk. Jordan Silk with the misfield, and Billings was a dead duck. Billings was gone for all money. Jordan Silk with the misfield. If he just needed to pick it up, he could have done a Jonty Rhodes and just dived into the stumps, but he misfields. Sam Billings was halfway up the pitch. Was an absolute dead duck. He was gone. Jordan Silk, unbelievable. What a huge turning point in the match. What a let-off. That would have been a game changer. That is a massive missed opportunity. 39 needed off 28, 2 top balls to start. Green struggling to get bat to ball. Oh, what a moment. I would still have a slip in place to Green, I'm not going to lie, as this is cut away into the gap for 1. Just the 1. Billings says, wait there. We'll just take the single. Yeah, I would absolutely still have a slip in place to Green. Not for Billings. But absolutely for Green. Billings back on strike. Drives it to the offside. Can't beat the man at mid-off. They'll come through for a single, though. Four for 115. 15.4 overs gone. 37 to win off 26. 2 balls left in this over. A solid one from Kerr. Green advances down the wicket, scoops it up over the top of the covers for 4. Green advances down the pitch, takes his chances in this over. Another good one from the Sixers that swings the way of the Thunder. NRL Super King, ahoy! Six off the over, final ball. A dot would still be a win for the Sixers in this over. Well, it's not a dot. It is cut away out to deep point. They come back for 2. That's well run. Solid running, which gives them exactly what they needed off this over. 8 runs. 33 to win off, 31 to win off 24 now, I think it is. The equation, 31 off 24. Will Main, who wins from here? The Sydney Thunder are clearly on top. They've got a surge to play. A power surge up the sleeve. Surely has the Thunder on top. The wicket of Billings, though. If Billings goes... I mean, if they... let's say they take the surge now and Billings goes first ball. Game changer. I don't know that they've called it yet. 31 of 24 needed. Billings is on strike and the Sydney Sixers turn to Edwards. None for 11 off 2. Still no power surge called. So the surge is still up the sleeve. Billings on strike. Guides it down to third man for 1. Do they push for 2? They push for 2! And a good throw would have had him. But that is extremely well run. Billings wanted 2 straight off the bat. Billings calls 2 straight off the bat. That is amazing running. I mean, the throw wasn't even terrible. It was just slow. From Shoan, I think it is, down at third man. It wasn't even a bad throw. It wasn't a good throw, but it wasn't a shocker either. There was no right for 2 there. Billings just pushed hard on the first one. Always wanted to come back for a second. Scoops it down the ground now. Will it be cut off? Yes, the man at long on races in, but they come back for 2 more. And Billings is just running the show now. Sam Billings is controlling things out there. Should have been out. Should have been out. The Jordan Silk misfield. (27 of 22). Bends it away to the leg side. Just the one. He is playing this easily. Sam Billings is in full control out there. Four for 126, 26 off 21. And it's the Sam Billings show at the moment. Guiding his team home. 35 off 27. Edwards to Green. Drops it in short. Green goes for the big cut. Sends it down the ground over the top of mid-off. And they'll come back for 2. Four for 128. Seven off this over. It's been a good one so far for the Sydney Thunder. Green on strike. Edwards in again. Hold him! Inside edge back onto the stumps. And Chris Green's gone. Edwards with the wicket. Full straight delivery, chopped back on. And the off stump is sent rattling. Edwards is excited about that. But I would say Thunder still on top here. 5 for 128. And once again, the Sydney Sixers, every time you think they're down and out, every time you think they're dead and buried, this absolute cockroach of a team find a way to stay in it. 24 runs needed of 19 balls. 5 wickets in hand. George Garton out to bat. Final ball of this Edwards over. He's been immense. 1 for 18 of 2.5. Keeping his team in it. Semi-Constus, no, we primarily do NRL. NRL, Super Rugby, Rugby Championship, Six Nations. This is the first time we've ever done cricket. Final ball, Edwards to Garton, punches down to mid-off for a single. And Garton will retain the strike. I'm not sure about that. 23 needed off 18. Oh, they've got the power surge to come, though. Power surge to come. Semi-Consta says you should do more cricket lives. Well, yeah, absolutely. Look, the cricket's gone well, so I'm certainly considering doing the ICC Champions Trophy. Well, here we go. The power surge has been called. Power surge has been called. And Garton is on strike. Why would you call the power surge with Garton on strike? If they were planning on taking the surge, would they have not knocked back the single off that last ball so that Billings was on strike from ball number 1? I do not understand. I do not understand. They're going to burn at least one delivery to get Billings back on strike. Would you have not just knocked back the single if you knew you were going to call it? Unbelievable. Unbelievable call, that. Well, we'll see if it works out for them. Billings is stuck down the non-strikers end. The surge has been taken, and it is Kerr to the new man, Garton. I would have a slip in place for him. God damn it. Push to the offside. They take the quick single, and they've only burnt up one ball, which is the perfect result there for the Thunder. There wasn't enough pressure on in the circle there for the Sixers. Sam Billings back on strike. That's what they needed. 22 of 17. Kerr to Billings. Big moments in the game. Sydney Thunder well on top at the moment, though. Obviously. Matthew Dolby on YouTube asking why they left it this late for the power surge. Well, I mean, the run rate required was always under control, I suppose. Matthew is the only answer I can come up with. Short ball, Billings pulls it away with a lot of aggression, but the man out there at deep square fields it, and they take the single. Garton back on strike. Look, me personally, Matthew, I would have taken it a lot earlier. But, yeah, I guess the run rate required never got out of hand. It never went too far above 8. If it went above 8 at any point, they were always in control of it. So I suppose keep the power surge. There's a bit of a safety blanket as Hayden Kerr has just clean bowled Garton. And it might just be a strategy that comes back to haunt them here, the Sydney Thunder. I've just shared my reasons for why they might have kept it up their sleeve, but they've not exactly played it well. Garton has just been clean bowled. You surely want Billings to be facing as many deliveries as possible. Not only did they call the start of the surge when Garton was on strike, they've now taken singles to get him back on strike early in the over. And Kerr has just ripped right through and clean bowled. George Garton goes for 2 of 3. And the Thunder, 6 for 131, are making this very difficult. They are making this run chase a lot more difficult than it needed to be. And they've also essentially wasted their first power surge over in the same sentence. A strategy that, quite honestly, Matthew, back to what we were discussing, a strategy that defies belief as Nathan McAndrew now comes out to the middle. 6 for 131. $21 needed or 15 balls. And we are 3 deliveries into the surge. 2 runs and a wicket from it. Oh, geez, I would have a slip in place. Chance of a run out of the non-strikers and Billings again. Too far down the pitch. Missing the stumps. And it's a dot ball. Pressure turning back onto the batting team here. 6 for 131, 21 or 14. Kerr with the first over of the power surge. 2 runs and a wicket. 2 balls left. Straight down the ground, elevated and over the top. Will it go all the way? Henriques chases it down and saves the boundary. The captain leading from the front. They come through for 3. Moises Henriques, captain courageous, leading the way for the troops. 5 runs and a wicket off this over. They're still looking at this, see if Moises was touching the rope. I think he's got it back. He's saved the 4. How critical will that 1 run be? Would that be? But Billings does have strike for 1 more ball. A scenario where Billings is off strike for the start of the next over would be a good one for the Sydney Sixers. Billings on strike. 5 runs and a wicket off this over for Kerr so far. It's been a good one. But 1 big hit here could end that. Billings on strike. Takes him with that big hit. Square on the leg side all the way for 6. A monster. 12 off 12. But Billings down the non-striker's end for the next over. It's the Sam Billings show tonight. 91 metres. 91 metres square of the wicket on the leg side. David Warner's impressed by that. 12 runs off 12 balls. And that turns into a very good over for the Thunder. For 4 deliveries, it was so good for the Sixers. Billings down the non-striker's end. McAndrews to face Ben Dorshus. None for 23 off his 2 so far. Dorcas has struggled to find his line. Oh, a wicket off this first ball would be huge. Imagine a run out. Imagine a run out trying to take the single. "12 off 12. With 4 wickets in hand. It is advantage batting team. Dorcas to McAndrew. Power surge. Second over. Drops it in short. McAndrew gets it through the gap for 4 runs. Gift runs. Dorcas again. He has struggled tonight with his line and length. And McAndrew just guides it down the leg side for 4. Terrible bowling from Dorcas. Good batting for the Thunder. 8 runs off 11 balls. Dorcas too short. Swing and a miss. McAndrew was trying to end it there. Eight runs off 10 balls. Dorcas, none for 27 off 2.2 tonight. He has not bowled well. Really struggled with his line and length tonight. Thunder should be home from here, AB1. Absolutely. It would take a monumental cock-up for the Thunder to lose from this position. Wide outside of stump, lifted over the covers for 4. McAndrew winning the game single-handedly here for the Thunder. 4 runs needed. They're 4 away. The Sydney Sixers are surely now done and dusted. Power surge has proved to be the difference. Ben Dorcas has just struggled all night. See, what you need to do as a captain, and once again, it's easy to stand here and criticize, and it's not really criticism, because I'm sure I wouldn't get it right either, but, I mean, wide down the leg side now, and will it be called? Yes, it is. See, he's just got it wrong tonight, Dorcas. None for 31 of 2.3. He has struggled with his opening 2 overs with line and length, and I understand that Dorcas is a very experienced campaigner and a quality player, but it's just not been his night. And as a captain, you need to recognise it's not his night tonight, so maybe don't give Dorcas the second power surge over. Maybe. Backs away, McAndrew chops it over the top of the offside, and it lands safely. Just. They'll come back for 2. And just 1 run needed now for the Thunder. The final is beckoning. They're 1 run away to face the Hurricanes in the final. Eight balls left to get this single run. Hobart Hurricanes versus Sydney Thunder in the final on Monday, Australia Day. Ben Dorcas has been disgraceful tonight with the ball. And very fittingly, the winning runs come off the bat of McAndrew and off the bowling of Dorcas. He sends it sailing all the way over the long off rope for 6, ending the game with authority. And the Sydney Thunder win with an over to spare. 6 for 157. 18.5 overs. Boy, they gave the fans some nervous moments. The strategy around the power surge was questionable. But it's worked out in the end. They've won with an over to spare. 6 for 157. Through to the final to face the Hobart Hurricanes. Some excitement in the chat room. Up the Thunder, says Tiernan. Jocker, let's go Thunder. Sue says go Thunder. And by the way, Sue, halfway through this run chase, essentially said Sam Billings not out to win it for the Thunder, which he basically did. McAndrew hit the winning runs, but it was basically Sam Billings who played the anchor, led the team all the way through. For the Sydney Sixers, so close yet so far again, but yeah, I've got to say, despite the Hobart, very happy to see the Sydney Thunder go through. Hobart Hurricanes versus the Thunder in the final. 6:15 my time. Monday. Australia Day weekend. And the final is all set. Nearly dropped my phone there. Did we see that? Is my phone in the camera shot? I think it is. Nearly dropped it. Hobart, look at the Hobbit. He's so tiny. Oh, you just pinch the cheeks and rub the hair. Hey, little fella. Anyway, I'll stop taking the piss out of David Warner. I'm sorry. Hobart Hurricanes versus the Sydney Thunder in the final. What a game. Lando Norris, the GOAT. Ahoy there. Pretty keen to talk some Formula One. We don't cover the Formula One here on the Waste of Water Sports, of course, but I do love my F1. Pretty keen to see somebody new win this season. It'd be very nice to get a new champion. I don't care whether that's Lando Norris. I don't care whether that's Lewis Hamilton getting his 8th. I don't care whether it's Oscar Piastri or Charles Leclerc. Just somebody, anybody but Max Verstappen, please, for the love of God. Anybody but that douchebag again would be nice. But I digress. Final is all set in stone. The Sydney Thunder to take on the Hobart Hurricanes. We've seen another quality game of cricket here tonight. I'm very much looking forward to the final on Monday. Okay, so Waste of Water Sports, there is a Rugby League Nines tournament happening over the weekend that's being covered on Fox Sports. It starts at 8 a.m. in the morning, so there is zero chance that I'll be covering the entire competition. But what I'm thinking is we'll pop on during the afternoon and we'll at least cover some of it. Because there's no cricket now, there's no BBL until Monday, so we need some content for the rest of the weekend. So I am thinking, certainly not from 8 a.m. in the morning, but maybe the afternoon session we'll jump on and suss out some of those Nines matches. But we'll see. NRL Smoke says, what is it? It is, hang on, let's look it up. So it's on Fox Sports. It's being broadcast. So for those of you who have Fox Sports, you can watch it. Now it's Gold Coast Nines. It's not affiliated with the NRL at all. Nines Premier League, Gold Coast 2025. Starts tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Way too early for me. It's on KO, yeah. It's on Fox. But there are some interesting teams. So, what channel is it on Fox? Well, probably the Fox League channel. But there are some interesting teams in amongst it. So Jared Hayne is playing. Jared Hayne returns. Andrew Fafita and his brothers are all playing. Blake Austin's playing. Todd Carney's playing. Ben Barber's playing for one of the teams. So yeah, it should be a good lot of fun. Is one of the games Sunshine versus Super Kings? Doesn't sound familiar, no. No, those team names don't sound familiar. Here's the team names. This is the team name. Southern Sharks, the Dogs, with Dogs, D-A-W-G-S, Legacy, United SC, Salty Pigs. I might have to go for the Salty Pigs. North Coast Marlins, Port Moresby Vipers, Arthur Beetson Foundation. Yeah, they've put a lot of thought into these team names. So anyway, we'll jump on. Maybe we'll jump on in the afternoon and suss it out, see how it's going. All right, Waste World of Sports, thank you so much for your company here. Another fantastic BBL game. The Sydney Thunder get the job done in the end, and they're through to the final to take on the Hobart Hurricanes. For those interested in the BBL and the BBL only, coming up on Monday, Australia Day weekend. For those interested in other stuff, yes, we'll if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Waste World of Sports on YouTube, we're actually going to be doing a podcast-style show tomorrow. I'm going to be deep diving a little bit into the 2025 NRL season, who I think is going to win, and the reasons why the Melbourne Storm will win. So do feel free, if you're on the YouTube, to suss that out. And either way, I might post some clips to TikTok as well. It all comes down to time, really. It comes down to the amount of time that I have to be able to do anything that I do. And it's very easy to go live. I mean, it's a piece of piss to go live. It's so easy to go live because I'd be watching anyway. Regardless of if I were chopping up content and posting it later, I'm watching the game, hit the go live button, easy, done. It's not so easy to then go back through that live footage and find clips. You know what I mean? So I might post clip if I've got something in advance that I know I'm going to talk about to post, I'll post it. It all comes down to time. I need to hire a full-time editor. That's what I need. Wasted World of Sports, the media conglomerate known as Wasted World of Sports, needs to grow big enough that I can actually hire a producer. Somebody to edit all the stuff for me. That'd be the dream. That's the dream, the chase. All right, so just quickly before I go, Lando Norris, the GOAT. I go for the Cronulla Sharks in the NRL. That's my team. And the tournament is called, just to help everybody find it, because it is definitely being broadcast on Fox. It is called Premier League, Nines Premier League. Nines Premier League, Gold Coast 2025. The website is 9, the number 9, pl.com.au, 9pl.com.au, and you can find all the information there. So it's not affiliated with the NRL at all, but it is being broadcast on Fox, 9pl.com.au. That's the number 9, not N-I-N-E, but the actual number, 9pl.com.au. And yeah, we might do some of that in the afternoon. As I said, it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. Not happening. I will not be up at 8 o'clock in the morning. No chance. But we might do some of the afternoon games. Thank you so much for joining me for this one. Appreciate your company as always. Waste the World of Sports, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, live on Twitch, live on Facebook. We'll catch you next time. Until then, cheers.